Okay, let's see. We started where we got off here, and I realized that the warning that was given here, I was trying to probe into what the pshat is in Katniss Rishon, and I realized he's really telling me don't do that. So let's go to page Kufayin Zayin. That's where we're at right now. So he says, Yisboyer Ratam Yisod Bebechinas Katniss Nikra Nachash. Why would it be called a Nachash? So now we know that the Yisod, you talk about a Yichud of the Yisod, so anyway, talking about the Yisod in a situation of Katniss. There it's called Nachash. V'amar the Yisod Azer Behi Yosef Bebechinas Katniss Nikra B'Shem Nachash. V'ratam, so that he just says it out. V'ratam hu ki Yisod Nikra Shakai Kenoida. So let's go back to some other things. It's a gematria 314, and that's what it's called. He says, "Uvizman Katniss ein lo elochius min achraim shal the das the zeranpin." Now, that's a little explanation of the whole thing about das. The achraim, the dam that we see in the Sphira, the counting. Shuhu bechinas shem ekia berivua, which is a concept of ekia, but it's an ekia in a rivua. Ha'ol dam, which is a gematria. Gadam kenisker of the erev over his chaber dam im shakai. So you put the two together, you hear big gematria nachash. So it's just a 44 and 314 nachash. So Rabbi Inyan hu ki ata Rabbi Eda Yisod the Zera b'mamshech tipas hazera element achraim shal the Yisod the ima. So he's saying that there's a big difference. That if the tipa of zera, which we understand, this tipa that's going to come for a yichud, is only going to be coming from the backside of the yisod of ima. Ella min acharayim shal the yisod the iba shebetoch das the zah, which is inside of the das of zah. So then we go through the same process, but it'd be a process sounds like in Katniss shehem al levushim shal amochin dechasadim begavoros k'nizgar, which is only. It's a yichud that's stimulated by a lavush, but not the ikar. So he says v'hinei. So he says now. Let's try to use boyer od tam lamach yisod b'mechakatis nikra nachash v'hinei be'ima nikras ekia kiyodi. So ekia b'yudin. Excuse me. V'acharaim shalacha b'chu revuha v'shuha oile b'gematria tov kuf mem dalad, which is 544, comes a gematria. So if you take the revuah of the acharayim, then you're going to get to the number 544. V'am the revuah pashut shal ek, just take the pashut is a gematria dam. So here the revuah of let's see, of ekia is dam. So for Osya Miloi Hein Begematria Tov Kuf, and they'll just take it away from 544, you get to 500. Kamocham Miloi Shel Shem Shakai, which is the same as the Mila Shem Kaf, which is also Tov Kuf Kanodim. But the Hein Tasem in the Tov Kuf Mem Dalim from the 544 Miloi, which is 500. Yihi Adame, we come back to Dam again. Gam Tasem Mem Shakai Osias Milu also takes the Milui of the name Shakai. I don't have it in front of me here. Shuhu Gam Gam gets the gematria of 502. V'yishar Shakai Pashut, and it will leave you with the Shakai Pashut, which is right back at the Yisod again. V'az Techaber Shakai Pashut im Revuah Shem Akya, then you'll see Techaber Shakai Pashut with the Revuah of Akya. Pashut Shuhudam V'Yia Kol Begematria what? Nachash. So here's a way using numbers that you could see the combinations of how they come out to be Nachash. Yisboyer Inyan Amok Be'inyan Anal. So let's get into this a little bit more deep. He said V'ha Inyan Yoser V'Birhu Ki Revua Ekya Nizgar Odadam. So the Revua Ekya, which comes out the Gematria Dam Hu Bebechidas Yisod the Ima, is the aspect of the Yisod of Ima. Because the aspect of Yisod, that's the Revuah. Asher Memelanim Shechas Atipa be Yisod Zah. So this is where the Tipa goes into the Yisod of Zeranpin. Now, so now he says, Ha Nikra Shakai. Litna Bebechinas Zivug El Nekeva, so to be put in a position where it could have a Yichud with the Nekeva. Vis Chavdrachus Yisod the Iba Im Yisod the Zeranpin Hare Nachash, who's the Nachash. Kikol elu havim bebechined dinim kashim. These are all concepts of very strict dinim. Bezecha besoda nachash elyon. This is the secret of the upper nachash. Shebegedusha hanoshech rechem ha'ela. This is the concept. Let's go back again. This is the secret of the snake. This upper snake. We talk about Shebegedusha, which bites the rechem of the ela, and then she's able to give birth. So he's talking about on the night of the seventh night of Pesach. He says of eight of Anna Mutarim B'Tashvis Mita of Ein Zechah B'Nik Zivug Gamor, but it's not Zivug. This is the Zivug that he's been talking about. The Vishachadayim Hu B'Bechinas Zaman the Katnas, because it's still the aspect of Katnas. So now we'll go on a little bit more. He says, "His boyers sowed kriyas yamsuf, b'kol pratecho." Now it seems like he's trying to say that this concept of the nachash and the biting of the nachash, of the hind rather of her womb, is they go together. He says with kriyas shema, kriyas yamsuf, v'zecha b'tovin inyan kriyas yamsuf, shenikru b'yom zeh, which is also called, or it happened, on that time. Shehu kriyas rechem ha'ela, which is what the breaking over of the womb of the ela. Shehu yisod shaba sof called dargim shaba. Now let me just ela shehu hayisod shaba sof. The sof is really the ends. This is the yam suf. The yam suf, he says over here, is really the yam, whatever the yam means. I guess it's malchus. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what yam would mean here. But he says that the word suf is really could be sof. Shabbat sof the called dargim shabbat. It's all the end of all of the dargim there. So somebody says shabbat, so I'm not sure what's shabbat, because he's talking about the yisod. Ayedech of zivug neshichas hanachash ha'elyon dekatnas. So I'm just trying to, I haven't got it exactly right, I don't think. He says, so we can understand that kriyas yamsuf has to do with the biting of that place in the elah. Shoha Yisod Shabbat, which is the Ela's Yisod. Sof the called Dargim Shabbat, which is the end of all the different levels of the Ela, which is, of course, the Ela means the Yisod of Zeranpin in the time of Katniss, by bringing out this the dinim that are there of the Elyon to Katniss. They're bringing out that biting for the Nachash Elyon, which is a Nachash of the Yisod of Katniss. Okay, so then he says, now let's get to the end of this idea. He says, Siyum Bir HaMaimer, so we're getting close to the, let's see, I just look at the time. Siyum Bir HaMaimer, in the Zohar B'Pashat B'Shalach, he says the end of that thought is, V'zecha B'Bir HaMaimer Pashas B'Shalach, and Nizka La'el, where he said, Ma Titzak Alai, V'zecha L'Shon, the B'Sifra Tznius, and Ma Titzak Alai. So, like I said before, I'm thinking that the word ma really doesn't mean my, it means ma. Titzak, Allah is crying out to me. Eli Daika, he says to me, Daika specifically, Baratika Tal Yechabilsa, that everything really depends on Eric Anpin. Ratzaloma wants to say like this, Githiyos Oz Zara Bebachin's Katniss. That Zah was an Indian of Katniss. Now, this really has to be touched up on, what we know from the Pashtus of the story. He says, the Hiyos Oz Zamba Bechinas Katniss, Lo Choy Yochel his David in the Nuch Besod Neshichas and Nachash, he couldn't have Yichud in Katniss. Today the crow creates Yamsuf in order to be able to break open the Yam at the end. I guess that's to break open to get to the Yam, which is get into the Yam, which is at the end of the Yisod. So only could happen matitzak alai is to the alai anim shachas min lo matika kadish from Eric Anpin. Oh gosh, what did I do here? Okay, I'm back. You can hear me, okay? So he says, so you had this idea, the kriyas yamsuf. So yamsuf is kriya of the yam at the end. So I'm just guessing that's where the flow is going to come through and make it possible. If it's not possible, who Eric Anpin can know? There's Eric Anpin. If it's not through Eric Anpin, Ki nai the Eric Anpin mislevesh bezah, because the nai of Eric Anpin is inside of the is clothed inside of Zer Anpin. Misorder of Eric Anpin l'hoyer bezah. So this arouses Eric Anpin to shine into Zer Anpin. V'ayidei kain mizdavik Zer Anpin benuk besod neshichas and niskara. So there is how you see that the yichud takes place, which is in the shicha that we're talking about before, which is the nachash, which is the place of the yisod in katnas of Zer Anpin. The rest of the ara that's going to flow now. That's what he wants to say, is that what's panimi to Zer Anpin is insufficient if he can't attach himself to the panemius, which is from Eric Anpin. So therefore, in Atika, everything depends on Atika. Let's go a couple of more, and then we'll try to see this section here. See beer mimer of Yanis Moshe Befanov. So this is the end of that. So then, why did Moshe run away from the snake? He understands it's the katnas of it's the Indian of katnas, the sod of katnas. Kaniska the el ki hinen is boyer its land who keep it called the barim yesh katnas. Regardless, everything has katnas the godless. Vegan yesh bechinas Moshe shall zaman katnas, but there's also Moshe in katnas, and as he described previously, is that the acharayim of Ima, which is stimulating this katnas, is also following the same path as the yesod of Ima into the das Zer Anpin, the same kind of filtration process. Yesh bechinas Moshe shel zaman katnas, for whose sod shnei shemels keil shakai, which is the secret of he is keil shakai. Now, how do we know that? He says, Shem Gematria and Moshe. You add these two together, which is 31 and 314. You get the Gematria of 345, which is Moshe. So you add on to them. Let's take another 9 letters. Where do we get them from? The Milui of the Shem Shakai. Yihi Gematria Shanad 354, which is the number that's actually the solar calendar. So if you add on the 5 osius that you have in the milui akale, I tried this, I could only get 4. I'm not really sure what it says. Aleph lamed, Aleph is Aleph lamed fei, that's 2, and lamed is lamed mem daled, that's 2. I'm not sure exactly how we got that, so I'll go on. Oh, chamisha osius, here you got 5 here. Shall kale shakai bepashut yia kol begematria shanat shehu gematria nachash ima kol. So you want to see it over there? There it is over there, and just a little bit more here. That's a concept that we should make for ourselves a choshen mishpat. Ki choshen hu osius nachash. So what's pshat over there? If it's the same thing over here, b'bo mishpat v'dinim tekifim, and there you see the dinim tekifim, which could be borne out, apparently he's saying, on the 7th day of Pesach. V'zera b'gam came masha kasa b'sofa parshat v'yakel, and daf reshu tes amad aleph, he says, v'zel d'shono, chaya chada is ba'alma, there is this one animal in the world, v'ihi shalta al aleph miftachin, and he has control over 1,000 keys. Shehu sod shnei shemos kale and shakai. So you put these two together, Knisker, and he says, how do you get that? Hashem b'meluim, but if you take them in a milui state, heim oile b'gematria elef, they come out to be the 1,000. So kale and shakai is the bris, and a kale, I guess, I'm just thinking to this, it represents the tipa. You put them two together, you get to the 1,000 of 1,000. Well, that's where we're going to stop today. And we'll go to the Sifrit Tzniuta. Let me just make a mark here and move my marks.